Chemical Romance cover band.
Yeah, nice. There you go. You know.
That's amazing.
I think if we're good.
Yep.
Without
Golden.
further ado, gents.
Yep, I'm ready.
Jump back into it.
Gladiator ready.
Gladiator. Hell yeah. All right,
Gladiator.
slam.
So
Where are we going?
we hear, not so much see, but we hear the sound of legs and feet being dragged across gravel and through mud. We also hear the sound of a couple men laughing and a few cries of pain from just to the right of us. We are looking through the very small slits of a potato sack that has obviously been placed over our head as we are being dragged down the street by a mob of men. At the front, there is a click, click, click of fine nobleman shoes that are being worn as they walk in front. And we just hear, well, right here should do. What do you think? String them up right here. In front of the old hangout, huh? Right. Sounds good. Sounds great. Chop chop says, yes, do that. Hang here now. And we get a couple cheers from some men as we start to hear these ropes being fastened and nails being put into boards. And we start to hear grumbles of pain coming out from a man that is trying to make it very hard for his aggressors to tell that he is in pain, but he can't help it because his body is so broken at this point. We hear commotion for about 5 or so minutes of this being done, and then we just hear, right, well, that looks sturdy enough. What do you say we put him up for display? And a couple of the men cheer, and you hear some men making grunts as they hoist something up, and we hear this sickening sound of flesh being pierced as you can just barely see the silhouette out from the potato sack of a man being strung up by hooks up on display. And when he goes up there, you just hear the man trying not to let out a scream. Right. Taking it like a champ, are we, Carl? You were always too large for life, weren't you? Always trying to go higher, soar higher than you were meant to. What do you say, boys? Give them some wings, help them fly? And we see the silhouette of this very skinny, lanky, but yet lanky, just tall man start to climb these posts, and you hear the sound of flesh being cut once again. And you can just see as the bag gets taken off your head, you can see the skin of the back of this man that's been hung has been ripped from his back and displayed out like bat wings coming from this man. And you can see your old coworker or old gang member up on top of the posts, looking down at you with a prideful grin. And your mouth is gagged, by the way, so you can just look on in sort of hatred as he just stares down at you. Well, Shins, what do you think, mate? You like what we done here?
I would like to headbutt him.
Well, you that would be possible if you weren't 20 feet away from him.
Okay, so he's further away.
Yeah, you're being held by multiple men, and he's
okay. I just hold a steely gaze, like straight up glaring at him.
Yeah. You're next, and you see him just and spit this nasty bit of phlegm straight into the wound of this guy's back. And he slides as he slides down the pole. Now listen, mate. If it was up to me, we might keep you, but it's just business. And he comes over, and he just extends his arm, and you feel the very cold prick of a meat hook plunge into the back of your neck, right by where your spine is, and he yanks you forward. Go ahead and make me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh my
Something tells
god.
me I don't have proficiency in that. Oh wait, I closed my character sheet, didn't I? Okay, fun.
Sorry.
Constitution.
All right, so you don't fall unconscious as you get knocked forward. This would normally make a ordinary man pass out, but you have resolve, so you are fighting through the pain. As you start to get dragged through the mud by this hook, by this man towards the post. As you are being dragged, you're slightly looking up at your old friend, your boss. Carl, and his corpse is hanging above you, displayed in this grotesque manner that is not deserving of anyone, even if they are a criminal.
In my mind, I'm just thinking, fucking Carl. I tried to warn him, tried to let him know Gert was no fucking good. And of course, like, I'm just saying that in, like, half a delirium, because I'm trying my hardest not to pass out, because if there's any hope I survive this, I need to be well alert.
Yeah. And once he gets you to the post, he just gestures to a couple guys, and a couple of your old, people that you used to work with come by and help lift you up, and they start to hang you up by the back of your skin via hooks, and you feel each of them press in. Excuse me?
I was just gonna say, during this whole process, I'm just working the gag, not necessarily to get myself able to speak, but just to, like, make it so I can move my mouth around.
Okay. Yeah. So you're trying just with whatever you can to sort of struggle, regardless if it's futile or not. But you start to, like I said, feel the small pricks of these hooks going into the back of your skin until you have about 12 or so along your arms and along your shoulder and on your back, displaying you there as you feel them let go, and you just feel the full weight of your skin being pulled up, much like a dog when their mother lifts up the back of their neck with their loose skin. That's what's happening to you, as you're just hanging there from this, from your weight. And all the men kind of back up and look at you. One of the men looking on with a little bit of despair and disgust, not happy with the situation. Your old mate Shaps, just staring up at you from the crowd, just shakes his head, and he looks down.
I'm just like sighing and trying desperately hard to not let that turn into a scream.
No.
Just gritting my teeth, like working the gag, and trying as hard as I can not to bite my tongue, to bite anything else, because I know that if I make contact with any skin, I'll chomp it straight off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're just standing there, just looking at all these men that betrayed you. And you look to your right, you see your best friend and your boss hanging there. At this point, he's gone limp. You're thinking to yourself, somewhat of a mercy, and to linger there for a moment longer in that agony. And then you look down at the face of the man that you kind of hate more than Gert a little bit, because the man who double-crossed your boss. You've worked with this guy for many years, and he just looks up at you with a sickening smile on his face, with his pearly eye just staring at you, but then kind of losing focus and going back. Well, Judge, I'd like to see you get out of this. Shins, if you do, come find me, baby. Maybe Shanjab hire you again. Maybe not. Let's go. And he walks straight past you, under you, and heads into the tavern. Your hangout spot, your guys' stomping grounds. And several of the men laugh as they kind of look up at you and go in. And once the crowd of them dissipate, they all just enter in the tavern, and you can hear a ruckus and roaring laughter, cheersing happening from the inside.
Could I have seen Gert before he made it inside?
Yeah, he's been staring at you.
Can I spit in his face?
If you didn't have a gag on, yes.
That's why I was saying about working the gag, is I wanted to see if I could get it out, not so that I could speak, but just so that I could spit, just to spite this asshole one last time.
Okay. So if we're gonna work the gag, I guess for a
Sleight of hand.
Yeah, I was gonna say sleight of hand.
Okay.
That's the best I can come up with.
thought I had a proficiency in that. Or is that just stealth and disguise? No,
Sleight of hand is
Okay,
a proficiency. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't.
I don't think
So
he
I don't
has
seem
it.
to have it for some
you don't
reason.
you
So.
don't have
Okay.
proficiency in it, but you can
Okay.
still click it. Okay, so
not my best
I'll say that you get part of the gag off, so you can let a little bit of spit out if you want.
Okay. Then yes, I'm going to just, and it's definitely full of blood because there's no way my mouth isn't like beaten up, both from probably being punched in the face to get myself in this position, and from just like what's happened to me in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And I'll
Yeah,
just
so you let a little bit of spit come out, and it goes and it lands straight on Gert on his brow, and it starts to leak down, and he just.
I can't see you, so
he just looks. Well, this is just for the audience. Just
okay.
And he grabs his meat hook, and brings it up to the inner part of your thigh, and digs it into you, and starts to just slowly pull down and opening up a large wound in your leg, which just rips the flesh straight in two. And at this point, you're looking down at him, and your vision just starts to fade, as you can just see this, and you can just feel this. And night, friend. And you lose consciousness.
Okay. When do I wake up?
You'll see.
Okay.
So
You don't.
so here's the thing. You are at this point you are now feeling like you're suspended, but you're in this sort of smoke, this sort of haze. You're not sure if you're dead or alive at this point. You just feel angry. But you also feel calm at the same time because you can't feel the pain of your wounds anymore, as you just feel kind of cold. And as you're feeling this, you are disturbed by this slight pat on the back of your neck. And you feel it again and again. And then you open your eyes and you see that it's raining and it's nighttime. And you're looking around, and the chatter from the inside has kind of quieted down a bit. And you look on one of your arms and you see that there's a bird on you, and it is pecking at part of the skin on your shoulder. And then you hear, "Hey, shoo, go away, shoo!" And you can see this little hand bat at the bird. And then you notice that the pain of your wound starts to kick in again, as you can just feel all these little hooks inside of you. And you start to just move around a bit and groan, and you just hear, "Shh, shh, shh. It's all right. Just, I'll get you down. Shh." And you just hear cut of different ropes. And once this individual cuts enough, you start to fall straight to the ground. And if you can, make me an acrobatics save, or just a straight dex if you don't have acrobatics.
I've got both.
Okay,
That'll work.
So you go, and then instead of landing straight on your face, you're able to get it. So you tuck and do a little bit of a roll. You don't land as gracefully as you normally would, because your muscles aren't responding how they're supposed to. But you do end up rolling into it, so you don't just land flat on the ground. And you are free. You're down. You land straight into the muddy floor, and you look up, and there is this little man above you. You recognize this guy because you have been served many drinks by this guy. Okay, I will show you his picture in a second. He would look like a halfling to anyone who knew what a halfling was, but the thing is that there are no halflings from here. So this is just a small man. He's the owner of the establishment that your gang frequents. And he's looking down at you with this little knife on, and he's got his hood up. Just, come on, go.
Yeah, and I would just pull the gag off my mouth, take a deep breath, because I guarantee my lungs would be burning at this point because I would be barely able to breathe. I would probably have been nearly asphyxiated by just the weight of suspending my entire body across my shoulders. And then taking one last look at the disgusting display of what they did to my boss, I'll spit in the ditch, and I'll run for probably one of the only. I'll just run straight down an alley, my mind racing as to like what safe place could I possibly go to get away from these people, because they have a lot of control, and I'm just
Yeah.
I
So
assume
you're
I
just
would
kind
think
of
of the
blind.
funnel.
Yeah. It's just sort of blind desperation, but more instinct. You just start running down an alleyway, and yeah, you spit towards the ditch in your boss's direction, and you do the little thing with your hands that the crazy beggar that was leading them did before. It's kind of a sign of respect for the dead here. And you take off down one of the alleyways with surprising speed. You're not able to go as fast as you normally would because your body feels heavily fatigued. And one might say it's so heavily fatigued that you have 1 point of exhaustion just from your ordeal that you've gone through. You can feel that you are dragging ropes behind you because there are still plenty of these hooks that are like just inside of your body in multiple places. And you're not wearing a shirt, you're only wearing a pair of trousers.
And I would be like reaching over my shoulder and like as best as I can pulling out the ones that I can, but I guarantee I can't reach plenty of them in my current state.
Yeah.
And above all, I'm just prioritizing run.
Yeah, so you're trying to get as much distance from you from the tavern as you possibly can.
Exactly.
And you run for, let's say, about 10 or so minutes until you reach an alleyway where you think you're in a decent enough spot that you can take a breather, and you just start to feel the fatigue and the pain of your body. And you can see the breath coming out of your mouth as you know it, as you can see, like, yeah, just the mist, but then you also see the rain coming down, and you realize that it's nighttime. And then your instinct kicks in again, and you realize that you need to find somewhere indoors because they are going to smell your blood and they're going to come and get you.
Yeah, and I'm immediately like thinking of like what places I could go, and I assume I'd know of the funnel, but I would also be wary of it because that place is creepy as all hell.
It's creepy, and there's also rumors that that there's a giant alligator that lives inside of it that eats people. So that's just something that their mothers tell children. You're not sure if there's any merit to it. There are also rumors that a witch lives there. But you know that many beggars live there. Like most of the beggars that you guys have robbed for their few copper pieces, they go and hide in the funnel during nighttime. So the worst you'd probably have to deal with, you're thinking realistically, it's a couple beggars that don't like you, but they'd be scared of you.
Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to like reach down to like actually in the alley I'm in, are there any like scraps of cloth or like anything that any like kind of thing
Go
like
ahead
that?
and make me a perception check.
Alright. I'm decent at these. Where is it? There. Not that decent.
So the thing is, you're looking around and all you see is just mud and muck and garbage.
Okay, in that case I would tear off just a bit of my like a bit of my pant leg, almost turning it into like more of a cut-off short. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it around my neck like sort of a scarf covering up the tattoo that's
because for those of you that don't know, each of the member of the scabs have a very distinct branding tattoo that they cut into themselves with a dagger to signify that they are one of them. And yeah, he's covering up his tattoo so that nobody can just look at him and be like, oh, you're a scab.
Yeah. I'm just like, fucking jab.
Yeah, and as you go to rip off the bit of your pants, you look down and you notice, like, because you've been running with adrenaline, you were bleeding heavily out of your leg. Very, very bad. He has ripped all of the skin open, exposing muscle on your right leg, near your inner thigh, down to your knee.
I damn well hope a witch lives in the damn funnel. Could use... It'll take a lot more than a couple of nights' rest to deal with this problem. And with that, I am just going to take off in the direction of the funnel, moving as quickly as possible, but on the lookout for any of the undead, and like if I see them, I will skirt past them. I will definitely avoid any... In fact, if it's possible, I'd like to keep to rooftops, but then again, with level of, I don't know if I could climb up to one with one level of exhaustion.
You can climb with the disadvantage.
Yeah, in that case, I'll just like keep to the alley. Keep to the alleys. Always peeking corners, checking for the undead.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you're going a bit more slowly at this point because your body is not letting you go as fast as you want to, and you're also trying to be careful. And you are walking. You are walking along, and you start to hear it just in the distance, just the howling and the sounds of dogs ripping into things, and you realize that you're close to a pack of them.
No!
And yeah, you're just like, oh fuck, they're here. And you turn and you look down one of the alleyways, and you see a pair of the bright yellow eyes staring at you from way down the alley, and you see two ears perk up and looking at you, and just. And they can smell the blood, and it starts into a bark as it just starts charging at you.
Oh.
Okay, I take it. Is this an initiative roll situation?
This is not an initiative roll situation. This is a what would you like to do situation, because it's too far. It would take it 2 turns to get to you. But this is what you see at the end of the alleyway.
Woof.
Doggy.
Okay.
Yeah, it is this disgusting mutt. It has ragged fur. It has open wounds. It just looks like a war dog, and it looks feral.
About how high is it to the shoulder?
For this thing, if it was to be standing, it would be up to probably like its head. If it stood straight up, would be at like your nipples.
Okay, so it's not particularly large. It's not.
Yeah, I mean it's a big dog. It's
big, but it's not like a huge dog.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's not a Chihuahua.
Yeah, it's about the size you would expect a violent dog to be.
Yeah.
Okay. And just from like my own personal experience, and like, because I guarantee I would have seen one of these things actually at some point. How strong are they compared to a person?
They've killed several of the men that you've worked with.
Okay. So, in that case, now I really need to try to get to either one of the rooftops or are there any kind of like what's in the alley that I'm in as far as buildings and such?
There are a couple scraps of planks of wood. There's a cellar door that's boarded off. There is almost all of the windows at level height have been boarded up for obvious reasons, because the undead scrape at them at night. So it's just you, this alleyway, some mud, and a dog. About 120 feet from you.
Sheesh. Okay. So I'm not sure how or where I got it. I probably just like habitually have it wrapped around me, or maybe I was tied up in it before, but I have 50 feet of rope on me.
You have 50 feet of rope on you because you have 50 feet of rope dragging behind you.
Is that actually where it came from?
Yeah, that's how I gave it to you.
Okay.
I thought you'd appreciate that.
I do appreciate the irony of the one item I have coming from being strung up like a piece of meat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I figured you'd like that.
So, those things have hooks in them, yes?
Yes.
I'm gonna try to throw it up onto the rooftop and climb my way up.
Okay. So you have to dig some of this rope out of you, though, because like I said, it is attached to you. So.
I know I was pulling it out before, so.
Yeah.
I have at least like a couple of strands.
Yeah, you have a couple. Yeah, you have probably like 4 or so hooks out of you. There were 12.
Okay.
So do you just start frantically pulling at them?
I guess. I mean, the ones that I have free, like, how free do I have them?
They're completely out. You just rip them out. So at this point, I will let you rip out another 8 of them frantically, but you're gonna take 1 damage.
Yeah, I'd rather just throw the ones I have, because I assume that the ropes are actually fairly sturdy in and of themselves.
Yeah, they're they're really good.
Yeah, so I'm just going to, like, throw all of the hooks up, kind of the way I would do a grappling hook if I were doing, say, like... given my character's, like, set of skills, I guarantee he's done, like, burglaries and, like, some of the higher-end robberies.
Yeah, I mean, you're good at acrobatics and stuff, and athletics. You climb all over the place. So yeah,
Okay.
so I will just let you try and get up onto this roof with just a straight roll, and so not disadvantage, but not advantage. Because if you have a
Okay.
grappling hook, I'll normally give you advantage if you're proficient in climbing, but
Okay.
I'll just give you a straight roll.
Would that be acrobatics or athletics?
Whichever one you
Okay.
want to roll.
Then I'm gonna do acrobatics.
Okay, acrobatics 16, you're fine. So so you end up hoisting. So what it is that a lot of this rope is attached to your back, but you've actually got the rope free from that were into the right side of your arm. So you end up, just getting out a couple more of the hooks as this thing is just like charging and bearing down towards you. You get it, and with your right, you jump and kind of throw it, and it hooks onto one of the gutters on the roof, and you hear it hook, and you're like, oh, fuck, this is gonna hurt. And you go and you start pulling yourself up, and your skin that is on your back like starts to rip as you're pulling yourself up, and it's very agonizing as this thing is charging. But you just manage to pull yourself out of this thing's reach as it goes, and it jumps and snaps up at your leg, but just misses as it's below you, just barking at you furiously. And you look down, and more of them start to come into the alleyway, and there's about 6 or so of them below you, just like howling and trying to bite up at you and barking just like these complete savage beasts, hungry.
Ugh. Why don't you go find my friend over there? He'll be your problem soon enough. I say as I like turn, and I look around trying to gauge just where I am about in the city, and
You're on the outskirts of the ghetto, so you could get to the funnel pretty quick.
Okay, yeah, then I'm just going to try to keep to the rooftops and just jump from rooftop to rooftop, getting to the funnel, since from the picture it looked like all the rooftops in here in this area are really close together.
Cool. So yeah, that's the thing. You're going to be able to do that without an issue. So what we see is that we see him just kind of just limping and going from rooftop to rooftop. We see the silhouette of this figure against the moonlight, just hopping from roof to roof, avoiding things, looking down, seeing that they're undead, being eaten by dogs and things, just grotesque things that are happening. But you're able to make your way towards that direction. But we go back to a less horrific scene of a very, very happy, seemingly happy tiefling just standing there, kind of palms extending, begging the question of who are these new people and how are they?
Well, come on. Don't be shy.
I look at Dusty, look at you.
Okay, I'll make this easy. You first. And I gesture towards the elf.
You must be Jormund, yes?
Well, yes, now your turn. What's your name?
Squint my eyes at you for a second. Adonam Mithrias. Call me Adam.
I'll call you Adam. Pleasure to meet you.
Yes.
And your friend.
Colin.
Colin.
Pleasure. Yeah, he just kind of bows his head slightly like a servant would.
And Catherine, Dusty, where did you find these two?
Women about. And she grabs the coin satchel. She keeps one piece of silver for herself and then tosses you the silver pouch. How many pieces of silver would be left in there, Bajan?
3.
Okay, so there'll be 3 more. You hear 3 clatter as you catch it in midair. Jormund? Gave us this.
Well, you're more than welcome. As long as, I'm sure you've already told them what they need to do to stay here.
She just shakes her head, very little kid-like. Dusty mimics her. They both have this, like...
Lovely, lovely.
We plan to not keep.
Would I know that she's offering like one of these to me to like take back?
Yeah. That's your cut too. Like you're the boss.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah. So I'll take it and set it at my side. Well, I need to make sure. Oh, did you give one to Belle? Okay, good. Very good. That man keeps us out of a lot of trouble, and I just turned to Colin and Adam. If you're going to be down here, be sure to take care of him. Take care of you.
Seems a very useful man, and...
Dusty, you look well. I'm glad to see you're not hurt. Did you... Wait a second. Let me see your hand.
Oh, holding it away from you.
Yeah. He just kind of like hides it, puts it behind his back even more. Go on, show him.
What happened to you?
Fine, I'd like to do that, and then maybe if, like, a tooth or something. Like,
Yeah, exactly. He's got blood on his fist, and he's got some splinters in his wrist, as well as a bit of glass sticking out of it that has barely pierced his skin, so he's not bleeding.
Yeah, I take out the little cuff of my sleeve and I just kind of rub to make sure the blood's not his.
Yeah.
And I just pick the glass up. All right. Well, good job. Don't get hurt now.
We left 4 of them in the streets. Didn't have time to get rid of them.
Did anyone see you? That's all that matters. The dogs will take care of them in the morning. Tonight. Ugh. Yeah, don't go outside at night. You two.
if they're like crispy ones, do they still get up and that?
Oh, what do you mean crispy ones?
You know, when they're all crispy and black.
No, if they was crispy, they come back, silly. Remember, they hunt us down at Burnham. That's why we didn't burn Reginald when he died.
No, you don't burn them. That's a bad idea.
Right, yeah.
That's only after they die,
mad.
What did you say?
That's only after they perish that if you burn them, the curse takes them.
Oh, I assume so. I've never seen someone killed by flames, so maybe, I don't know. Interesting prospects.
Plenty of
Wait a
research.
second. Do you like sneeze flames or something?
What? Look at you.
Yeah, and I think I'd take a moment and I just realized you're wearing like mage robes.
Yeah, he's wearing you've definitely seen his robes before. He's from the institution.
Dusty.
You know, my friend Gavin, he sent me a message about something earlier today. Oh, and you used fire.
Oh, yeah.
I know who you are, or at least I know your work. Just kind of clap you on the back.
Yeah, and Colin just backs up. Please don't tell anyone that we're here.
What is Colin?
We'll get you more money if that's what you want. Just don't turn us over.
Hold, Colin. This
You
man.
fit right in, and I just kind of go in between them and like throw an arm over both of their shoulders.
Yeah, and Colin's very uncomfortable.
Who in the
Yeah, don't worry,
the
fellas.
serpent's abyss
People-
are you? I raise my
People
hand to
believe
you
me
like,
anyway.
hold now. I
Come. We'll need to find you a place to rest. You look tired. You've been running all day, I assume. Come on.
slowly deflate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this is just like this. Colin's kind of creeped out of this welcoming man. Just like,
Yeah.
why is he being nice?
I mean, so am I, and for many reasons. But like, he offers a roof and safety. I'm not gonna pass that up. And a bed.
Exactly.
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just bow my head slightly, and like, lead on.
Right. Oh, Catherine, be sure to visit the old woman. I'm sure she'll be happy to see you're good and well.
Okay.
Can I say hello to Grandma as well?
Oh, absolutely. Go on.
Yes.
Although be a little careful. Things didn't go quite the way she wanted to today, so just be nicer than usual.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. And the thing is, Katarine very obviously turns into more of a little girl when she's around you, Jormund, as where she's more of an adult when it's just her and Dusty.
Okay.
But yeah, whenever it's you, it's always like you're like that kind of scary uncle, you know?
Yeah.
So she's just like, okay. Like, yeah, so then she's like, okay, we'll do that. So yeah, Dusty and Katarine head off towards Elodie.
I run towards Elodie.
Yeah, exactly. And Katarine's on his shoulder, so she is running as well.
Nice.
And yeah, they just disappear behind disappear behind the tarp.
Yeah, and I just kind of almost like on the edge of uncomfortably, just kind of leading them down the catacombs, trying to see if I can find them an empty bed.
Mm-hmm. You know that there's a section past yours that he'll probably do, because there hasn't been a lot of people that have slept there since Reginald died. He was an older guy, so you think that that'll probably do.
Yeah, then I'll lead them in that direction. Come on, you two.
Not that.
This is going to be very interesting. I might need your help later, Adam. And then I'll say nothing else as I continue to lead on.
Yeah, just okay.
Well, man, you two need to lighten up.
Sorry, long day.
Perhaps.
Colton's still gripping the knife ever so slightly that he had earlier.
I can definitely understand why. Yeah, as we are traveling, I'll perhaps after saying that, after Colin has to say, Colin rather. Sir, I must inquire as to a simple matter.
Please, Jorman.
Why saith you your name?
Don't call me sir. You make me feel like an old man.
Oh, well, it is related. I'll keep it simple. Are you a noble?
No, not at all.
Yeah, hold yourself like you're a noble. Seen a lot.
And if I may be so
Interesting.
bold, you've the haughtiness of one.
I've been like this as far as I can remember, but I've also lived here for quite a while.
Well, you're very welcoming, and I do not disdain that in the slightest, considering our circumstances.
Very well. Were you a noble before you burned the place down and probably killed quite a few people?
First off, it was an accident. Secondly, that's not an admittance, though. Secondly, that will not hold up in a court of law. Secondly, I am born of not necessarily noble blood, but I come from wealth.
His parents are some of the shareholders of the college.
Yes.
Oh, you are from money.
Quite a bit.
I don't imagine they're too happy with what you've done, though.
I hopefully will not have the opportunity to be the target of their ire for such a thing for a while.
Yes. I recommend you hide down here for quite a few days. Good news is no one of that standing will ever come here.
What's the plan?
Please, the guards rarely make rounds in this town. They let the dogs do all the work.
Oh, that's reassuring, I suppose.
No, it's the gangs you have to look out for.
Yes, we had a run-in. What are the gangs that operate in this area?
The two gangs that operate in this area that you would know of, Jormund, are the Scabs, which are the kind of the mean gang that are for themselves, that bully everybody and mug people, and then there are the Browncoats, which are kind of like the Robin Hood-esque for the people gang.
Okay. Well, there are two. The Browncoats and Scabs. I believe you probably ran into the Scabs. If you got to look at their neck, there's a little mark that gives it away. But, yeah, if they caused you trouble looking at you two, probably assumed you had money, which, by the way, I assume you do. I think this is all you have if you came from the college. But keep that on yourself. Good on you for hiding it. And,
just Colin's like, like every single thing you say, it's just like, okay. Yeah, like, he knows. Fuck.
Oh yeah, don't let anyone see actual gold. They might kill you, as I'm sure you saw. But good on you for running into Catherine and Dusty. Dusty, yeah, he can protect you. My face, just for a second, kind of just goes to a flashback of like Dusty just like fighting off like 4 or 5 guys at one time.
Yeah, exactly. There's like a very distinct image that you remember where you were sitting at a table one time in a marketplace having a discussion with somebody, and you were talking to them, and then Dusty got into a fight with somebody, and he literally ripped a guy's head off and threw it, and the head landed on the table and bounced into your lap. So that's what always kind of what you remember as like the thing. You're always just like, oh yeah, he can do that if he needs to.
Yeah, you'll be fine if you're around him. But nonetheless,
Often.
glad to see you two made it through your first night here. Well, almost, but you've done the hard part.
Right. Is this where he just points towards one of the crypt beds?
Yes. That is where you will be staying. If you need any form of comfort, we don't have it, but we can do our best.
Yeah. So he just gestures down towards it, and straight up what it is that there's one seemingly sort of tattered bedroll that has a huge blood stain on it where somebody was obviously coughing and vomiting blood. That's probably where Reginald died.
Oh.
And then there's another one that's completely barren that just has cobwebs in the corner of it that go up the wall.
I call that one. I point to the cobweb one.
Yeah. Just burn that one, why don't you? Like, he just goes over to the fucking... He goes over to the cot and just kind of sits on it, all defeated. Like,
On the dried blood.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do. Oh, yes.
What do people do for work around here? Like that is a foreign word.
That is quite a complicated question. Better way to answer it. Better way to ask it. What are your skills? I know magic. Are you good at anything else?
Well, you see, this one time, I was... No, it's just magic.
Oh, that's fine. See, magic is unique, and I just kind of like, just summon up like the beginnings of an Eldritch Blast in my hand, and just kind of throw it around. No, magic's fun, and it just dissipates.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's useful. I'm good at talking to people mostly, but magic's.
Well,
But
he's only partly useful at magic. Doesn't have a book.
Hey, look, that's not my fault.
you don't have a spell book?
Are you a wizard, sir?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't given one. Stole one.
Hey, you...
Ruined my fucking
Cease!
life.
Stop it! Yeah, I just keep
my
calling to him.
fucking life. And he's just like, she was like, oh, my parents won't give me a spell book. Not till I know how to use it. They don't think I'm responsible. Can I see one? Oh, you have the keys to the library? Let's go inside it. Sure, I'll let him in.
It's a good idea.
We're good friends, right? Yeah, he's gonna
I just
help
gotta
me
put a hand
the
on
girl
his
of my
shoulder.
dreams. Now I can't even talk to the girl of my
It's-
dreams,
it's-
Adam. I'll never see her again. She got burned to death.
You really
Wait.
shouldn't have done that, Adam.
You had a crush on Lori?
Yeah,
You loved Lori? She was the first to die! Oh my god! Oh, yeah, I look away, I'm like, well, I'm assuming she died when the bookshelf fell on her, but... I mean...
Well, wow.
This is the best
That's,
scene ever.
Okay, so
Oh!
you're good at magic.
I can... others. I was from... I have...
One second, please. Yes. Now, Colm,
His name's
I know.
Colin.
He said his name was Colm.
It's calm. He just
Okay.
like looks at you in the eye. It's calm.
It is an erratic
Colm,
pronunciation.
are you also talented in magic?
No.
What are your skills?
I sort things, clean things, empty out bedpans, cook.
Oh, come
I-
All of that.
I know the perfect place for you. You are going to help Elodie. Yes. A man as organized as you could very much help her keep things in track. I'll ask her about it. I'll run it by her.
I mean, I would not limit yourself. So he is a very
Oh, please,
talented-
he'll learn quite a bit if he works with Elodie. That is, if she accepts him. She's very picky. As for you, you are going to help me with my next venture.
I am.
Presumably, you're interested in learning more about magic. As it is, I don't think you'll be going back to the college anytime soon.
No.
Left of the college. He just like looks down.
Hey! Only the archives and the west wing, which is half of the entire institution, is made of wood. Look!
And part of the noble quarter, as I hear it.
Oh no.
Yeah, both of them just kind of like the noble quarter.
Could it have spread that far?
How did that? But just so you know, your contact Gavan told you very explicitly that half of the Anastos estate, which is the richest family in Burlag's house, has burned to the ground.
Yes, I do believe it was the, what was their name? Yes, the Anastos estate. About half of their holdings gone up in flames.
You see all the color drain from my face. Are you
I'm
sure
going to-
of this?
Yes, my contacts are quite reliable.
I'm just going to lie down for a like he just kind of like sinks on it, like he just lays down like, and you just see him kind of curl up.
Colin, I think I'm
The
going to
Anastos.
faint. I was so terrified. Oh.
I'll leave you two to have a good night's rest, sweet dreams. I'll speak to both of you in the morning about what you could do to earn your keep around here. But it seems that Catherine and Dusty have already taken a liking to you, so good on you. Rest well.
Yeah, just before you leave, you notice me go up against a wall, slide down, go into a fetal position, start rocking back and forth. Oh, no.
Have a lovely night. And I leave.
Yep.
Yeah, and we see Adam and Colin just kind of like just look at each other and you bound down half of the Hedonism. Like you're just hearing that kind of bickering back and forth as you're walking, as you're splashing in the puddles, Joran.
Maybe they'll die in the fire.
And once again, just very slightly, you hear the ding, 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 of the bell, Joran, to warn you that there's somebody coming.
Yeah, I like rush back.
He doesn't know. Yeah.
By the way, that means danger. Be careful.
Adam runs over to Colin and like holds him, and Colin's like, "Get the fuck up!"
Yeah.
Like you just.
A scream echoes down the labyrinth. A woman's scream.
And Joran, you start heading towards the front door just to figure out what the fuck. And you hear the limping of a guy walking very, very slowly down the paved stairs, and you see this man.
Except a lot bloodier.
This is the first time we get to actually see what you look like in full view, Lucky, because it's not from your perspective. So what does your character look like, just for everybody?
Well, hold on. Do you want me to pull up the sheet, or?
I pulled up the sheet. Just
Okay,
so you can just describe how you're holding yourself and how you're...
Okay, well, you would see someone who was, like, clearly fairly young, like, probably mid-20s, and, like, he has a pretty muscular build to him, not large, but very dense. Like, you get the impression that this guy definitely did a lot of something physical during his life.
Huh.
And he's absolutely covered in blood, old wounds, and very, very new wounds. And he's basically doubled over, slowly shambling. In fact, you might have almost mistaken him for an undead for a split second, until he looks up at you with, like... and just goes... Can I please just come in? They're after me.
Yeah, are you still covering the mark?
Yeah, I've got like there's a bit of cloth just around my neck that it's so blood soaked that because it would have gone over the main hook that was used to suspend me that went through my like close to my spine. So you just see a blood soaked rag that probably looks something like a bandage around my neck.
Yeah, and you've got... Did you get the hooks out of you? Or do you still have some hooks in your back?
He still
I probably have some.
Yeah, he has a lot. You have a lot of
Yeah,
hooks.
I probably have at least 10 still in me.
Oh, God.
Well, let's see. Hold still. Who's after you? And I go around your back and I begin to, like, very slowly removing the hooks.
The damn mongrels. Who do you think is after me at this hour?
Well, I know the mongrels didn't string you up, so I assume there's more to the story.
Yeah. And he's just very sort of surgeon-like with precision, but also not with any empathy at all, ripping these out of you.
Sweet sire! What's Look,
you were just about to tell me who exactly it is strung you up.
The scabs have gone nuts. Like, if you think they're bad normally, right now they're worse than ever. As a fucking madman. Just, please, can I just have a place to lie down? I can take these out myself.
And what exactly did you do to anger the scabs? As I'm, like, taking out the last few hooks.
Ugh. If I tell you... Can I please just stay here at least for the night?
Yeah, you say that, and I walk back around, and I just look you very serious in the face, the jovialness kind of draining. Oh, you see, you're going to tell me, and then after you tell me, I'm going to decide whether you can stay. I'm going to protect everyone who's already here. You're one more face. You're 1,000 more issues.
You hear in the back of your mind, Jormund, just as you're looking at him very sternly, you just hear, "This one might be useful to me. Keep it."
Well, it seems like you already have a fan. Yeah,
his face
and the-
completely changes.
yeah,
Yeah,
the-
it's just like a psychopath. You're like, what the fuck?
The joy
Like,
comes right back.
I was gonna say my jaw would just like drop and be like, and like part of me is just like running through as many situations as possible, and it's just like I'm just sort of halfway thinking, well, half the stories are probably true, and but like at this point, like I assume like you've gotten probably most of the hooks out of me,
Yeah.
and at this point, like I just like I'm just like tugging the last couple out and being like, can I have those? They're not much, but they're literally all I have.
I would actually kill you myself if you wasted any of it. However, yes, and then come on, give me a nom, and I like throw an arm over my shoulder. Now, what did you do? And I'm just leading you down.
And I imagine, like, at this point, I don't have the energy to think up a decent lie.
mm-hmm.
And I just go, can you promise me you won't tell anyone of what I'm about to show you?
You obviously haven't been in Lumenro your entire life, because if you were, you'd know that if there's one thing we do, it's keep secrets. So yes, come on.
I'm starting to have my doubts about that, I say, as I just, I pull back the bandage and you see just the bloodied mess, and you'll probably barely be able to make out the silhouette of the scab tattoo. And it's like, I think there was what you would call a regime change if you're trying to be polite. Fucking Jan stabbed us in the back.
Yeah, once again, you just hear,
I was right about this one. Let him in, please.
Yeah, I just kind of think back. You want to see him yourself?
Not yet. Deal with his wounds. Show him to me later.
Of course. Yes, well, seeing as it is you're part of the one group of people I could not despise more Lumen Road, no offense, but seeing as they've done this to you, we're going to get along just fine.
and
I would be inclined to agree.
with that, Lucky, you're sort of like, you're like, we're gonna get along fine.
Has he asked my name yet?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
But with that, he kind of just, he places a hand on your shoulder, and as he touches you, it feels like a battering ram just slammed into the side of you because you're just so off balance. And we just get a shot of you just like, swaying back and forth, and then you just...
I would probably fall on my ass.
I'll tell you... it's like, I'll tell you and you go, and we just see him fall straight into the water, and Jorman, you just kind of look down at him, and, you look around to see if anybody's there to help you. Yeah.
Dusty!
And Dusty comes bounding around the corner, and as we see him just kind of start bounding towards towards Lucky, we just get a shot that's slowly dollying, panning out of the funnel, and then back up into the sky, and it just kind of turns, and we just see the moon covered in clouds with this sort of green haze around it, and that's where we're going to end the first episode of Hedonism.
Nice.
Good shit.
How did I of all people wind up playing the edgiest character?
That's how it goes, man.
I mean,
you
you're built to be an edgelord. Just I don't need to tell you that. That may have just bled into your personality.
Yeah.
So this is going to be for the VOD's sake. Thanks everybody for watching. Obviously we're doing this every week. You guys should come join us live, but if you can't, they're the VODs. Thank you, Whiskey, for uploading them. Thanks everybody for playing, and hopefully see you guys next week on Hedonism when we get into some more crazy adventures with the newly formed party. This will be the first time everybody's together next episode. So thanks for watching, guys, and that's going to be the end of the VOD. So thank you, Whiskey. Now we can just kind of talk freely because, because of the fact that we don't have to worry about the VOD anymore. So it can be.
And there's the lore explanation for why my very capable character still only has 4 hit points.
Hell yeah!
That was a great set.